Bravo star Craig Conover isn't done talking about his messy breakup with Paige DeSorbo. During the Southern Charm Season 10 finale, which aired on March 20, 2025, Conover opened up to his castmates Austin Kroll and Shep Rose, confessing that he still doesn't know where things went wrong. According to the reality star, he and DeSorbo were best friends and had a great life, but he claimed that none of it was enough for DeSorbo. Conover also admitted that things seemed normal between him and DeSorbo until the couple's 2024 Thanksgiving celebration. According to Bravo, they spent the holiday at DeSorbo's parents' house and had a great time together. However, he was blindsided a few weeks later when the Summer House star broke up with him over the phone. Conover revealed that DeSorbo believed their relationship was no longer serving her and that she needed to focus on herself. The reality star added that DeSorbo remained extremely calm during the call, but the whole thing was a devastating shock for him. Conover told Kroll that he couldn't bring himself to tell Kroll about the split initially because he didn't want to face reality. Earlier in the episode, Conover shared that he was planning to propose to DeSorbo in 2024. She asked me to buy her a ring, he claimed. However, the reality star revealed that DeSorbo ultimately asked him to hold off on the proposal, which is when things started going downhill. Paige DeSorbo claims she tolerated too much with Craig Conover. On the Summer House after show season 9, episode 6, DeSorbo shared her side of the story and revealed that she has a new perspective on her 3-year relationship with Conover after their breakup. The Bravo star admitted that she often turned a blind eye to Conover's behavior. "I think I loved him so much that I tolerated too much," claimed DeSorbo. DeSorbo went on to reveal that Conover would try to overshadow her career milestones. According to the reality star, anytime she was doing well in her career, Conover found a way to make it about him. "It was just embarrassing," confessed the Summer House star. DeSorbo confessed that she would sometimes hide her successes because she knew Conover would struggle to support her achievements. DeSorbo took the opportunity to bring up the time she had a panic attack on her Giggly Squad podcast tour. The reality star revealed that while she was seeking help for her anxiety, Conover thought her struggles were just due to working too much. DeSorbo confessed that Conover would then use this to tell her that she shouldn't be putting her career first. However, DeSorbo also admitted that she and Conover didn't have great communication, which eventually led to their breakup. The Breakup Chronicles, Craig and Paige's unfinished story. The calm before the storm. It was Thanksgiving weekend in 2024, and for Craig Conover, it felt like everything was falling into place. He had arrived at Paige DeSorbo's parents' house with a sense of certainty, the same certainty he had felt ever since he and Paige became a couple. He could feel it in the crisp autumn air, the quiet beauty of the small town, and the warmth of Paige's family. Everything had been perfect, at least that's how it seemed to him. They had spent the holiday together, celebrating over turkey and pie, laughing around the dinner table, and sharing long walks through the woods. To Craig, it was a picture of stability. In his mind, he and Paige were as strong as they had ever been. They were best friends, partners, lovers, living the dream that so many others envied. He could even hear the soft murmurs of their future in his mind. Maybe they would buy a house together. Maybe marriage wasn't so far off. But that's the problem with certainty, Craig would come to learn. It can vanish as quickly as it arrived. Fast forward a few weeks. The holidays were over, the new year had begun, and Craig was preparing for what he thought would be the next big chapter of his life. He was planning to propose to Paige. They had even discussed it. Paige had asked him to buy her a ring, and Craig had been shopping for it in secret. He was ready to make her his forever. Then came the phone call that would change everything. The breakup phone call. It was late January, and Craig was at home in Charleston when his phone buzzed. It was Paige. His heart skipped a beat. After all, they had just spoken that morning. He had no reason to believe anything was amiss. The call, however, wasn't what he expected. Paige's voice was calm, almost eerily so. It was like she had already processed everything she needed to say, and now she was merely going through the motions of telling him. "Craig," she said softly, "I think it's time for us to break up." It felt like the world tilted on its axis. Craig's stomach dropped. He had known Paige for years, and they had shared so much, so many laughs, and even deeper moments. It didn't make sense. How could this be happening? She didn't sound angry or upset. She sounded resigned. She continued, "I just think our relationship isn't serving me anymore. I need to focus on myself." Craig sat in stunned silence, unable to comprehend what was happening. His mind raced, replaying their recent moments together, the laughs, the deep talks, the quiet mornings. How had it come to this? He wanted to say something, anything, but his throat felt tight. All he could manage was a strained, "Why?" He was desperate for answers, but she didn't seem to have many to give. Paige, always composed, told him that she felt she had been holding on to something that wasn't right for her anymore. It wasn't just about the present, it was about the future, and she needed to start thinking about herself first. When the call ended, Craig sat there, the silence deafening. He hadn't expected it, not at all. But the more he thought about it, the more he began to realize the cracks had been forming for months. He had just been too blinded by the idea of their perfect relationship to see them. Behind closed doors, Craig's friends, Austin and Shep, had known about his struggles with Paige for a while. They had seen the tension, the small moments where Craig seemed a little too distracted or uneasy, but even they were caught off guard by the news. In a conversation with Austin during the Southern Charm Season 10 finale, Craig opened up about his shock and confusion. He was still reeling from the phone call, unable to put the pieces together. "It doesn't make sense," Craig admitted, running his hand through his hair. "I thought we were good. We were having fun. Everything was normal until Thanksgiving. We even talked about the future. Hell, she even asked me to buy her a ring. Then, just like that, she's telling me she needs to focus on herself." Austin, always the supportive friend, tried to offer some comfort. "Dude, I know you're hurting, but you can't keep asking yourself why. Sometimes people just grow apart. It's a hard truth, but it's reality." Shep, who had been quiet up until then, spoke up. "Yeah, man, I've been there. It's tough, but maybe you were seeing what you wanted to see, not what was actually happening." Craig's face twisted with frustration. "I know. I've been thinking about it constantly. I just didn't want to admit it. Paige and I had a good time together. We were best friends. We had a great life, but none of that seemed to matter in the end. I don't get it. I still don't." But the truth was, Craig wasn't just hurt by the breakup itself. It was the way it had happened. The way Paige had stayed calm, almost distant, during the call. She didn't seem to share the same devastation he felt. It made him question everything. Was she ever as invested as he was? Or was this something that had been brewing for a long time? Paige's perspective. The after show for Summer House gave Paige the opportunity to share her side of the story. She had her own version of events, one that painted a different picture of their relationship. To Paige, the breakup wasn't a sudden decision. It had been years in the making.